Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Internet, and
What?
welcome to a.
Oh God! No, you said you wanted to do the intro, and you just.
No.
You
Let
ruined
me
it.
finish my intro. You're about to mess it up. See,
Okay.
you're already messing up. It's bad enough Rebecca's not here.
Okay.
Don't leave, people. Don't leave. Whatever you do, don't turn off the stream.
Why'd you
I
tell them,
promise you.
Delvin? Don't tell them.
I think they can see.
Just be like, she'll be here in a minute.
She'll be here in a minute.
She's on the way. Don't leave.
Whatever you do, don't go nowhere. Welcome to another edition of Nintendo Shack. I'm one of your hosts, Delvin Cox, and with me is the Pied Piper of Nintendo Shack, Mr. Donnie Reese. How you doing, brother?
Greetings, Kooplings. I'm doing well, Delvin. We recorded a Decade of Horror Friday night, and I had copious amounts of alcohol, and I was just wrecked yesterday. I
have seen this man more than I've seen family.
That's true. That's true. Man, the chat's popping. Happy birthday, Spagoop.
Yeah, happy birthday, Spagoop.
21.
21.
Talk about
Legal.
copious amounts of alcohol.
Yeah, that's the time to do it. That is definitely the time to do it. As soon as you get 21, you're gonna get intoxicated. Then you're gonna realize maybe this is not what all this is cracked up to be. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you just become an alcoholic. There's two paths you can go, Spagoop. Light and
God.
dark. I chose the light path.
Off the rails already.
Yes. I guess we'll get to it. How's your week been, Donnie?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's do some homework. So I played Sea of Stars for about 90 minutes. And
That's great.
it's good.
Here you go.
I'll give it that. It's really good. Best looking game on this. I wouldn't agree with that. I think it's a little far for Rebecca. I also could just like not appreciate, what it does. The thing that I liked most about it was just how kind of detailed and ornate it is. It's very full. There's lots of assets like around. Like the cities feel very expansive and big. There's lots of buildings and lots of details on buildings and porches and rails and docks and there's just stuff. There's lots of stuff on screen. It's not as simple a game visually as a lot of pixel art games are. I like the overworld map too. I did some fishing. I was like, yeah, I could see had I been into games like this, I might be interested in playing something like this. But it's not Star Ocean. In my opinion, Star Ocean is just generally like kind of gorgeous, especially on OLED, man. It just pops off the screen.
That's good to hear because I was a big Star Ocean fan when I was a kid. So
I never played it.
wanna check
I
it
never
out.
even knew what it was until this remaster came around.
I want to say that came on a PlayStation.
I think so. Yeah, I
The
think
first
it's an
one?
old PlayStation
The first couple
game,
ones, yeah. But I remember playing it, and I think it was like, you could do a whole bunch of different paths and things like that, and I just enjoyed the heck out of it back then. So
The fact that it's
I'm
an
interested
action
to
RPG
get back
goes a
into it.
long way for me. Letting me actually
Yeah,
press
big-
buttons and move around and stuff, that helps a lot.
yeah, it's really cool. It was really unique for its time too.
Yeah, I think
But
I'm gonna
I'm
get
glad
it.
you.
I'm not gonna get it day one, but I think I'm gonna get it someday. Maybe if I can
Okay.
cop it on sale or something. It's on Steam, so I'm sure it'll drop down a little bit at some point.
I'm certain. It seems like there's a new Star Ocean game coming out every month now.
Yeah, it is. It also is trying to hard to keep up with like which one it is. This would be Star Ocean. Was it Type R? I was going to say Type 2, but I think it's Type
Yeah.
R.
Yeah, I think it's like a remaster, if I remember correct, a remake or something like that.
Yeah, it's 2D HD, like all the the
Yes.
Octopath games and stuff like that. I mean that art style just does something different to me, and it's got like that dream effect around the border, and it's got like that a lot of bloom lighting, and it's very like, like all the, like any water and everything is very shimmery and reflective, and it's got that bright, shiny coat that, like, man, it just really catches my eye. In the demo, you walk into like the forest, and as you walk, like you careen down like this curving path through like this field of like hay or whatever. It's all yellow, and it's just good stuff. Visually, I was enamored. It got me. It hooked me in by the visuals, and I think one day I will give it a try.
That's dope. I'm glad you like Sea of Stars too, because my son loves that game. He like it's incredible, and I'm gonna get to it after I finish Zelda and a couple other things. But yeah, Sea of Stars looks like it's really interesting. I'm just waiting to get this stuff done. I got a lot of stuff done now, so soon I hope we have time.
The chat's going on about me playing it. Or I played a demo. It was just a demo. Like, don't get too crazy with it. I may get the game and quit in an hour and a half. I will tell you the demo. Even in the demo, they talk too much. Like, it's too long before you get to do something. I was like, oh my god, shut up. They just keep going on and on.
RPGs
and on
gonna
and
give
on.
you like a several hour synopsis and stuff like that. Then you're gonna get to the action like, oh, this is incredible. But you have
It's
to
too
get
much.
there first. That's the key.
Like, if you're gonna do that, I need you at least to like speak to me. Like, give me some cutscenes, or like how Fire Emblem does it. Like, make them go back and forth with some voice. This is literally just like old school, just reading. I was like, oh my god, move on.
Yeah, because Persona is very heavy with that. You're gonna get a whole bunch of plot when you get to them dungeons. But when you get to them dungeons, you have a blast. That's just kind of the thing.
I'm playing Cyberpunk, and I talked about in PSVG that I encountered this bug that has been acknowledged by CD Projekt Red, and they said it will be fixed in their next patch. So I stopped playing until the patch. So I was like, okay, the patch I imagine will be out soon, like in a couple days. So I was like, let's play something yesterday while I wasn't feeling myself. I was just like stuck in my chair all day because I felt terrible. I was like, let's play something. So I started playing Cocoon. I played Cocoon also for about 90 minutes.
I forgot this was the thing.
Yeah, it just came out. It's on Switch, which is why I bring it up. You can play it on Switch. It's on Game Pass. You can play it on Xbox if you have Game Pass. It's everywhere.
I'm glad you said that.
This game is from the game designer or director, I believe, of Inside and Limbo. This is one of the games that come out of the Playdead split. So Playdead split, and this is one of the games that's been talked about for some time. And it's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to say what I don't like about it, but like, don't let that deter you. It's good. It's a very good game.
Okay.
It's like visually, it's kind of mesmerizing. There's a lot of stuff going on, especially if you're into like sci-fi, but maybe not like Star Wars sci-fi, maybe more like Avatar sci-fi. Something more like that. It's very colorful. It's very like alien. It has like this like insect kind of thing that's going through. Everything's like bugs and insects, and there's like pods and little larvae and stuff. I mean, it's called Cocoon. That shouldn't really come to much surprise to people. The reason that I stopped playing, and the reason honestly, I wasn't really interested. Like, it's just not something I wanted to play. Is that it's a heavy puzzle game, not like Inside or Limbo. Right. That's the whole thing we've been hearing about is, like Inside and Limbo they have puzzles, and I play them because there's like this story being told. That's why I like Planet of Lana. I want to learn about this world and whatnot. I play this game for 90 minutes and I still have no earthly idea why anything is happening. I don't know who I am, or why I'm there, or what anything. Like, it's just, I don't know if it's environmental and I'm just not picking up on the cues or whatnot, but like there's just not a whole lot happening.
That's what I was going to ask, because usually Playdead games is very good with environmental storytelling and things happening that kind of bring you in. Not necessarily like you get cutscenes and stuff like that, but based on what's happening in the environment, you're like, okay, this is what's going on. So there's kind of none of that there.
No, not that I'm picking up on.
That's just
like you literally drop into a world and you're like this bug creature, and you run around and you start falling upon puzzles, and you just start solving them, and you just like keep progressing. And the puzzles are deep. The more than anything, it was that the puzzles are like deep. I just didn't want to try that hard. I'm not even going to lie to you. I told you yesterday it didn't feel good. I was sitting there playing. I'm like, this is This requires focus and try. And I just don't want to do either one of those right now. I just wasn't in the mood. But you do a lot of puzzles. So like you'll find this. All right, so you do some puzzles. You'll come across these platforms. You stand on them. You press the A button, and then some sort of function happens. Like maybe like a platform moves from one bridge to the other side, right? And you'll do that, and then eventually you'll kind of keep doing these sorts of puzzles. You keep like creating stairs and things for you to progress and move forward. Eventually, you'll come across like an orb. You'll find an orb, like this little circle ball. And if you take the orb to a specific platform, the orb will create like a pool, like a reflective pool. And then you can jump into the orb, like similar to like how Ratchet and Clank rifts work. Like you jump into the orb and it like zips you into a whole different world. And now you're kind of like in the orb, and then you complete the puzzles that are in the orb. And when you do that enough, you'll get to a boss. And then the boss has its own patterns, and you've got to figure out how, because there's no combat. I'm not actually like performing anything.
My next question.
Yeah, so your boss has like these things, and like like something will pop up out of the ground, like a ball or something. You grab that and throw it at the boss, and stay out of the way and don't get hit long enough. And then you'll beat the boss, and then you'll like beat the orb, and you'll come back out, and then you'll get something else that'll let you advance a little bit further, and then you'll get another orb, and just kind of it just kept going down this path of this orb. And there are orb puzzles, there's like tube puzzles, there's block puzzles. It's just a puzzle game. I mean, that's ultimately more than anything. It's not even like a platforming puzzle game like an Inside or Limbo. It's just a puzzle game. You're just doing puzzles.
That's disappointing. I like the platforming and puzzle of Inside and Limbo, so to play something like that might not be for me.
So yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it's for me. I'm not saying I won't go back to it. I do think it's good. Like, I think if you're into puzzles, I think you'll love it, because I think it's very good. The puzzles are good. There are more times I had to like seriously think about like how to get through something. And the boss I had to fight like 3 times because I got hit, and then you start all over. You go back again and get hit again and start all over. I just didn't want to do it yesterday. Like, I just wasn't in the mood yesterday. I was like, I don't want to try this hard. Because I don't think it's a long game. You beat it in like 2 or 3 hours or something like that. So I was like, I'll try to go finish it before Shaq. And I started playing it for about an hour and a half, and I was like, that's enough. I've had enough of this.
Let me tell you.
I don't want to keep doing this.
2 or 3 hours for me with puzzle games turns to 4 or 5 hours. Like, I'm not trying to figure this out. I'm going to sit there like, nope, this is not for me.
Yeah, so if you're not that into puzzle games, I don't think you'd like Cocoon. But it is mesmerizing is like the best word I can find. It's very ornate in like its visuals. Everything's very contrasty, very colorful and like detailed, especially when you get into like, there's like this industrial, I guess like a ship area that you're in. And it's very like alien, like all kinds of platforms are kind of like unraveling out of the walls and stuff like that. And you're like, man, this is detailed. There's a lot going on here. So, and that part is kind of cool.
Pretty game.
Yeah. Like you get like this one orb that I got allows you to see like a path that you can't see otherwise. So you're like carrying this orb around while you're trying to figure out this path. But then along the path, there are all these switches where you can switch and make the paths rotate, which will connect you to other paths. And then eventually, I think what got me is eventually what you'll start doing, because it keeps building on itself. Eventually you'll get to a puzzle that'll be affected by the puzzle before it. So then you like go forward, and then you come back and you hit some switches, and you go back again, and then you come back and I was like, I'm not trying to do all this. Like that's what really kind of broke me. I was like, no, never mind. Like, as long as it was like just the one puzzle, I was fine. But once multiple puzzles started doing each other, I was like, no, I don't want to do this no more.
You was like, I'm doing the puzzle. Oh, here's 5 more. Like, that's it. This is where I check out.
Pretty much.
I get it. I totally get it.
A game that I've been playing for a couple weeks, that I was going to talk about because, quite honestly, I haven't played a whole lot on my Switch, is a boomer shooter called Forgive Me, Father.
You got into it finally.
Yeah,
how do you like it?
I like it a lot. It's got this. I think most people call it like this Lovecraftian type of thing where these monsters like kind of spawn and whatnot. Um, it's definitely doing that.
Cthulhu-ish.
It's definitely doing that 2D boomer shooter thing, but like it feels a bit different. It's almost like a Paper Mario with. And I'm not sure if it's just like, but I see their enemies like spin and move. I see them from different angles more than I remember seeing something and like flooding in, and I was like, this is dope. Kind of reminds me of almost like a zombie movie or something. I mean, they're coming at you from all different angles. Like you are running and gunning, run and spin and jump and do whatever you can to keep firing. And it does the boomer shooter thing. It's it's got strong like horror tones, which is why I started playing it. I feel it's like a good game for this October, and it's very colorful. It's very pretty. But like you'll be going through a house and you've got to collect keys to open up certain doors to escape, and do it so fast to get a bonus and kill so many folks to get a high score and all that jazz. It's doing boomer shooter things. The reason that I found it or came across it anyway, it's on Switch. You can play it on Switch and play it on my Ally. Is that they're releasing a sequel in a couple weeks. The sequel hits early access like right before Halloween, and I think I'll be playing. I think I'll be playing that for Halloween. That's more or less what I brought it up.
I might do the same then.
Depending on when I get to Alan Wake. I haven't bought Alan Wake yet, and I probably won't buy it until like this Cyberpunk thing is delaying me a bit. So like there's going to be a time where I go, do I keep playing Cyberpunk or do I like pop over to Assassin's Creed? And depending on how that goes, like I'm not going to get Alan Wake until I beat both of those games. So
okay,
it'll just, from that point forward, once I get through Assassin's Creed and then Cyberpunk, then I'll decide when I get Alan Wake. So I may play Forgive Me Father 2 before Alan Wake. It's possible it works out like that.
Okay, that's cool. I played the original a while back. It was one of the first games I got from my Steam Deck.
Nice.
If I remember correctly, it had on Fanatical for a sale. Like, oh, this looks really cool. And
yeah,
I got it for a deal.
I think I got it on Green Man. I got it on one of those sites. I paid like $2 for it. That's
the same thing.
Yeah.
I got that, Dusk, and a whole bunch of other things. And I played that, and that was one of the first ones I played. Like, oh, this is actually really cool. That was kind of it's a really good game. I highly recommend it to people.
So what about you? What are you up to?
I have been only played one game because I've been on every podcast possible like this week. So like, if there was a podcast, I was on it this week. But the main thing is I played is Tears of the Kingdom. I finally got the Master Sword. So that's kind of awesome. Did everything required to do that. I went to, I guess I can say this spoiler for the game. It's a small spoiler. I went to the Kurok Forest and did what I had to do there.
Yep.
That was pretty interesting.
That was fun.
I dug that. I'm making headway in the game, so I actually think I might be finishing with it in the next, before the end of the year, I think I'll be finished with it.
What's your,
because I don't think like I have two.
So let me ask you this then.
I like that one a lot. And I got to stop playing this because then I won't finish Tears of the Kingdom. And I was playing something else. I played Planet of Lana. I played a couple other things during that time too. But I was like, let me go back and just finish Tears of the Kingdom and get this out of the way now. And that's what I'm on right now. Let me finish Tears of the Kingdom because I feel like if I just push through it, I can kind of get through it a relatively good time. I was upgrading my armor and stuff, like the champion armor.
Yep.
So once I upgrade that, I want to get myself to the point where going to the depths and everything is just child's play. So I want to get depth armor and all that stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm at now.
Sure.
I have a lot of hearts, but I don't want to get into a battle and fight someone. They take half my hearts away. I want to be like, okay, I'm fighting this big monster and it only takes like 2 hearts when it hits me.
So when you're done, are you going to go back to Baldur's Gate?
Yeah, I definitely am. I love Baldur's Gate.
Because I'm asking because there's a lot of games coming out. Like I'm not hearing Spider-Man or Call of Duty or Starfield or any of these other things from you. Mario Wonder.
I feel like Baldur's Gate will end up being a game.
I got you.
When Alan Wake comes out, I'm going to stop Baldur's Gate. But when I'm not playing those games, I'll be playing. If anything, Baldur's Gate will be taking away time from my WWE playing, my NBA 2K playing, and my AEW game playing.
Got you. Okay.
Because usually my downtime, those are games I play. But Baldur's Gate is fantastic so far.
Nice.
All right, I guess we got some news stories to get to, a big one apparently. So I'll let you get to it, Donnie.
Yeah, let's do it. So Hideki Kamiya is leaving Platinum. Most notably the creator of Bayonetta and Wonderful 101. Long ties with Capcom and Resident Evil and Devil May Cry. And all.
They were like, "Oh, this is awful." Like it kind of just came out there and nobody liked it, and it's not a good game. So I can see why, but I never like when creators leave and then they just start putting out other stuff and it's not of the same quality. If you can keep making Bayonetta games and it's still that same high quality and what you expect from Bayonetta game, it's all good. Let this man go do his thing, and I'm quite sure he probably wants to go take other creative avenues and stuff like that. And I think that's important for him to do. But I'm quite sure there's an audience of people who still love and want Bayonetta games.
Yeah.
As long as they're coming out good, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting. And I'm also wondering, like, is there a noticeable difference? Like, 10 years from now, do we get Bayonetta 4 and it just feels like Platinum Bayonetta? Or do fans feel like it's kind of generic and missing something? I don't know.
That's the thing. I'm taking a guess that he probably wasn't a part of 3 as much.
I don't think he's been an active, I just looked it up. The game director was different for Bayonetta 2 and 3. So, yeah, he hasn't been directing the game. He's just been kind of, a producer, overseeing the teams that are working on it.
You play Bayonetta more than I do. You think people noticed it?
Well, I think the question is how much. I'm sure that he was still, he may not be credited as a main role. I'm sure he's still very creatively involved. Right.
Yeah,
so that's the thing. What's
help with the story?
Right. If you remove that aspect, does it feel different? I mean, ideally, I think Bayonetta fans would hate to hear this. I think Bayonetta would be nice. I'd like a reboot of Bayonetta. Bayonetta is so hard to keep up with. It is just batshit crazy, the story that they've told. It would be nice for them to maybe get back to roots a bit, or maybe kind of start a new universe or a new thing somewhere, I think.
I think that would be fine too, depending on who does it. They tried it with Devil May Cry and it didn't work, even though I think that was a really solid game. People just didn't kind of adapt to it.
I like DMC.
But
and I wonder how much more involved. I also wonder, I think we all talk about Bayonetta like it's a sure thing for Nintendo. I'm just wondering maybe how it'd be nice if the Switch 2 is announced, if we get wind that there's a Bayonetta game in the works for it. Because I often wonder how much longer is Nintendo interested, because these games haven't sold very well. I still think they're very important. I think they add something to Nintendo's library that they don't have, so I hope they stick with it. But if they decide to change their minds, I'd understand why they would.
Yeah, I always felt like the Bayonetta games and the Metroid games and stuff like that kind of adds a more mature audience to just saying, hey, Switch isn't just for kids. And I know obviously it's not just for kids, but that's sometimes the brush that gets painted. People like, oh, it's Nintendo Switch, this is for kids. But no, there's some really cool games on there that people definitely should check out that are fun, great games to just try. And Bayonetta is one of those series that, hey, gamers should love Bayonetta in general.
XBS says, didn't the ending of Bayo 3 set up a soft reboot? Yeah, kind of. It was kind of like not a hard conclusion, and not that anything is a hard conclusion in Bayonetta, but there seemingly was somewhat of a conclusion to this trilogy that they were going for. I was hoping that maybe they would go in a different direction. And then G-Man says Bayonetta Origins, not like Bayonetta Origins though. I like that game. I only played the demo. I want to play it. I'll get it on cheap one day, not for $60. I didn't like that game, but that's not what Bayonetta fans want. You want an actual Bayonetta game.
But that kind of goes with what I was saying earlier, that sometimes, the director leave and then they start doing other type of reboots and other things. People just, even if it's good, people just doesn't gravitate towards it just because they know the creator is not involved in it.
Yeah, Bayonetta.
Even Metal Gear Revengeance, which was a Platinum game. I love that game. But people were like,
I like that one too.
We don't know.
Yeah, Bayonetta Origins is really good, actually. The demo really won me over. I think the common takeaway in seeing the trailer and the direct was like, oh God, no. Like, what is this? Like Bayonetta for children, for kids? It's really not. It's really good. It's a very story driven Bayonetta game. That's not so combat oriented. And it was fun. It's a very nice game to look at. I just think the pricing on a game like that was, rich. It was pretty hefty blow. And I have no doubt that we'll be able to get that game for, half, if not less than that, Black Friday. So
I was going to say the exact same thing. Just wait till Black Friday. All this stuff.
John 32 says, I liked Bayo 2 over Bayo 3. I did as well, but I think a lot of that is how Bayo 3 performs. Bayo 3 is a slog to play on Switch. If honestly, of all the games that I would replay on a Switch 2 that like got upgraded, Bayonetta 3 would probably be the first one. And that would be a nice way to like kind of kick off like a nice announcement for that console. So like, hey, if you have Bayonetta 3, it now runs at like 4K and 60 frames a second. Like that would be incredible. Because that game is that game is tough. It's very muddy. Like it's very muddy and blurry, and half the time it's hard to even like make out people's faces and stuff in that game from time to time. So of a game that needs to be touched up, that one almost comes immediately to mind. The other games are cool, but that one needs it. It needs some help.
Yeah. I'm excited for the Switch too, because I think it's going to open up a lot of doors for a lot of more games coming on the Switch console, and it looks, ideally, I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if it's what they talk about. And
we'll see what Kamiya's up to one day. Again, I won't, not speculating, but like Shinji Mikami left and we have no idea where he's landed either. Those two worked together before. I don't know if they're going to like tag up and do something. That'd be very important. That'd be very big news if they were like, if they were planning something like that. I think that would catch people's eyes. When
let me put my little 10-4 hat on for a second. Do you think it may be a thing of, hey, maybe I want to work on some things that are on higher quality consoles, not necessarily like, higher tier, like PlayStation 5, Xbox?
No, I don't think so. Because
more powerful consoles at the time.
Platinum would be one of the earliest developers to get a whiff on what Nintendo was planning. So I would imagine that Platinum knows exactly what the Switch 2 is. Probably like Ubisoft and some of Nintendo's closer partners. So I imagine that Kamiya knows what's coming. So I don't think he would leave for that. And I don't think they necessarily make those kind of games either. And it's not like Platinum isn't exclusive to Nintendo. Platinum can make other games, like they did Vanquish and stuff like that.
Bayonetta is kind of exclusive, but they could. Like,
Bayonetta is now. Bayonetta is now because Nintendo publishes it. Remember, in the Vanquish pack, Bayonetta, they remastered both and put them on Xbox and PlayStation. So you can play Bayonetta on PlayStation.
But you can play is it the first one?
The first one, yep.
Yeah, which I recommend people play.
I was thinking awesome. When Mikami left, I was wondering if I was like, is he going to go back to Capcom? Like, could this be a thing? Like Resurrect's, cool. Dino Crisis or something. But we still haven't heard. And then Kamiya leaves, and I'm like, oh, and you start thinking the Capcom thing again. But again, the stuff that I'm seeing online is not that. Stuff I'm seeing online is very off that. But I'll wait to see what's happening first before we talk about it. If it happens, we'll talk about it when it happens.
All right, super interested in seeing what happens.
But I don't think they're going back to Capcom. Is the point I'm making.
I'm always excited for new, like creators going out and making new stuff. So if this leads to new stuff, I'm all for it.
Same. F099 got an update where we have 5 Queen League tracks: Mute City 2, Port Town 1, Red Canyon 1, Whiteland 1, and 2 are coming to the game in a new Grand Prix mode. Be excited.
No.
Again,
absolutely
Shaq's
not.
Legacy of doing this game. I did talk about it in the Discord a little bit yesterday. I don't think it's really news, but I will just mention it in case anybody's not aware. There's lots of people on Reddit talking about having like a screen retention issue with F099. I have no doubt that this probably means the people that are playing this game like nonstop, but like you can see the car kind of burned into the screen. It's not a permanent thing.
Oh,
And you can it goes away if you play other things and like power cycle your Switch and stuff, I think is what I've been reading. So I don't think it's
I
like
hope so.
that crazy. Yeah, it's not like permanent damage or anything. But if you're seeing anything like that, or if you're not and you're just playing F-099 around the clock, just be mindful of that. Maybe when you're not, maybe when you're taking a break or something, maybe like run a YouTube video or something in the background. I don't think can you even do YouTube on Switch? Hulu, like run a Hulu video or something.
That's a wild thing to say, but accurate.
Or just do something where, start a title screen of something else that moves. Just do something that moves a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also should do that with your 4K TVs, by the way.
Or play it docked. That'd be another thing. Like just play it docked. Watch that be the next thing. People we realize, yeah, if you guys didn't see my Annabelle's going nuts, she's really wanting my attention. It'd be crazy if people played so much F-099 that it burned into their actual TV. That'd be wild.
That'd be crazy.
I actually wasn't going to talk about this news until I was, but Atui, from developer Jules, made some announcements this week. Hatch Tales, the sequel to Chicken Wiggle, has finally come out of the shadows and will release March 28th, 2024. This is newsworthy because our dear friend, Bobby, the Nintendo guru, he worked really closely with Jules. So I think a lot of our community, especially at that time, several years ago, were really aware of this game. And I know I have a lot of friends and everything that pitched into this Kickstarter idea. So like 6 years ago,
yes,
they created a Kickstarter to take this Chicken Wiggle game and essentially make like the Mario Maker version of it. I'm paraphrasing, but like that's essentially the pitch. And then that Kickstarter went quiet for years. I mean, quiet, like didn't even get updates from Jules. It almost felt like antagonistic. Hundreds of people were asking for it and he would just never do anything. Meanwhile, they were releasing like other games. They would release things people have never even heard of. And yeah, it's kind of weird.
It became a running joke.
It was, it did. Yeah, it was like Silk Song and Hatch Tales. Silk Song and Chicken Wiggle.
Yeah.
So it comes out of the shadows. I don't know I didn't watch the trailer. Full disclosure, I never liked Chicken Wiggle. So I'm just a participant in this story. I just like watching from afar. I never liked Chicken Wiggle the first time. Me and Bob used to always kind of argue about that. I'm like, hey, I like Jules. I just don't like this game.
Yeah, it's okay game. It's not for me though.
Yeah, I wasn't excited enough to kickstart a new one. And so I don't know if it's like 1,000 times better or if it is exactly what we thought it was, if there's like some new gimmick, or I have no idea. If you want to know, you can go find I think it was on Nintendo Life and YouTube and stuff like that. But the reason I put this story on the show is actually the second part of this. He also announced this week that Dementium is being ported to the Switch and is out October 12th. And I adore Dementium. I played Dementium Remastered on 3DS, and it was one of my favorite 3DS like indie games. It's a horror shooter. It's a first-person shooter. It's all horror themed. It reminds me a lot of like Manhunt or Condemned, and you're playing in this old like hospital, like this old ward, and you walk around this building and you try to uncover the plot and kill the monsters and get out. It's an old game. It was originally a DS game. So like it's an old game. So don't expect Forgive Me Father, don't expect Dusk. It's nothing like that. It's not a boomer shooter. It's like an old indie game, right? So it's a small game. I think like all of the rooms in the hospital like look the same. You know, it's a lot of reused assets and like it's not crazy, but it did a really good job of being like scary. Like you couldn't see very far until you get a flashlight. And then when you get a flashlight, like I believe, if I remember correctly, I haven't played this game in many years, but like you can't hold the flashlight like and a weapon at the same time. So you have to like toggle between the two. So it's very dark. It's very claustrophobic, and it looked great on 3DS. The video that they dropped for the port looks like it's a port of like the 3DS. Like it still looks like it's on 3DS without the 3DS effect. So it doesn't look like remastered, all that, you know, it doesn't look beautiful. It's not like HD. I think they're trying to keep like the lo-fi, the low poly
feel
look.
of it.
Yeah, they're trying to keep that I'm not surprised. I sent Jules a message. She didn't respond, but I was wondering if I had a couple questions. I was wondering if it was going to come to PC.
Jokes.
Well, that's probably true. He's like, fuck that guy. I was wondering if it was coming to PC, but I was also wondering if, oh boy, I just lost my train of thought. I was also wondering if it was being ran on like an emulator, because the thing about this game, or if it was like a full blown port, because I've seen people stream this game, over the years. I've watched a couple of people stream it. You know, like there are like 3DSs that have like casting ability and or like 3DS emulators, and this is kind of like a low key popular kind of one to go back to, and that's what it looks like. Like when I was watching the trailer, I was like, it looks like you're emulating the game. I was wondering if it was like an emulation underlayer, or if it's like a full blown asset like port. Not that it really matters, but just thoughts that came in my head when I was watching it.
You know, I've actually heard of this game a long time ago. When this game originally came out, I think it was I guess it was the 3DS version of it.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wanted to get a 3DS for this. Like, oh, that looks pretty cool and interesting.
I would say for people that have listened to Shaq, before Switch, they've definitely heard me talk about Dementium. So I like this game quite a bit. So this game came out back when back when they were called Renegade Kid. If anybody doesn't remember that, like this goes back a bit. And Renegade Kid was Jules and his partner, and his development partner, he passed away. And then for like years, I guess Jules was in negotiation with his game developer's family on whether or not they could use those works and whatnot. So like, this is kind of a game that I never expected to ever return. I kind of thought Dementium was lost. So I was pretty jazzed to see it. Like, I'm going to buy this for sure, because I love that game that much. I've got it on my 3DS. I could just play it on my 3DS. And I'm wondering, there's a part of me from what I saw in the trailer, there's a part of me that thinks it's probably better on 3DS. That might be the best way to play it. But I'm still going to get it anyway. It's a cheap game. Who cares?
Well, let me ask you this. Does the 3D work on it?
Yeah, I like the 3D effect a lot for this game. I think it added a lot to it. Like there's like a lot of lightning crashes and stuff that happen and come through the windows, and like in the light and the 3D effect gives that screen a little pop. And because it's such like a low res game, it works on the 3DS in a way that when you play it, like if you were to play it on PS4, it doesn't work. Because you're noticing everything that it's not, but on 3DS, that's just how everything is. So it would be weird though if he made it like Turok remasters and it was super sharp and whatnot. I think it would lose something too.
Okay.
So I think this was the right way of doing it. But yeah,
I'm gonna get it. I want to check it out.
Yeah. A couple of headlines and then we'll move on. We didn't have a lot of news this week. Red Dead Redemption 2 was rated for the Nintendo Switch in Brazil, and then the internet went crazy and all the Nintendo blogs were posting, and as Resident Evil's come to the Switch, is the cloud version, all that, and then like 3 days later, the Brazilian board like edited that page, and they're like, "That was a mistake. We just meant the first one." So all about nothing. Yeah. And then I put this one in here actually specifically for you, Delvin. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. Dino Break releases October 4th, so that's next Wednesday. This is the newest game from Dead Drop Studios. These are the people that make like all these Capcom parody games, like these Capcom spin-off or wannabes. Clones was the word I was looking for. These Capcom clones.
Okay.
So they made like Outbreak, like the Resident Evil clones. This is Dino Crisis, and they know exactly what they're doing. In the trailer, they're like, "Escape into a new crisis." Dino Break. It's Dino Crisis, the new game, and it drops on Switch on the 4th.
I like some of these clone games. I don't think I like the Dead Drop ones, but there's one called Daymare 1998, which is literally just a clone of Resident Evil.
Yeah,
that's really good. Actually, it's pretty good. It's pretty well made. So I kind of dig those. So when they come out, I usually like not the Dead Drop Studio ones. Those usually aren't as good. But I usually check them out. I usually give them at least a look, because it looks like a studio that is trying to get there. Because if you look at the first game they made, you're like, this is terrible. Then you see the second one is progressively better. The third progressively better. So I'm assuming that we're at the point now this is a decent game. So maybe I'll try it.
Let's hope. I tried one of the Outbreak games years ago when they first got going, and it was just so janky and clunky. I was like, never mind. And I haven't really given them.
I tried the first one.
Yeah, I haven't really given them a second try, and they've released several games. Like they've released a bunch. I hope maybe they've
pretty
gotten
well.
better.
Apparently,
yeah. The trailer looked good.
I'm assuming they've gotten better.
That doesn't mean anything anymore. Lots of people can make trailers look good. We'll see. We'll see how it releases. Patience.
And thank you for staying here this long.
She's on the way, guys.
She's on the way.
She's on the way.
Our first question from Mike Minotti. What kind of hat would Daisy look best in?
I'm really upset that Rebecca's not here because I feel like maybe I missed something. Is this like a Twitter question or something? Guys, help us.
I feel like I missed something too. I'm gonna say Daisy would look best in like one of those New York Yankees snapbacks.
Oh wow!
Like a straight up
you trying to turn her into J-Lo or something? What's going on over here?
Yes.
Damn.
Like the snapback with some Timberland boots on.
New York.
like she's from the Bronx.
I mean, I feel like is he asking? Is it like the Princess Peach game? Is it like, does she put on a hat and get powers or something? Or is there like
I'm assuming that's it.
Is there some part of the Twitter talking about hats that I don't know about?
Twitter, I stay far away from.
Yeah, I don't have any awareness. So I don't.
What's Daisy wearing? Nope, I would not be going there.
I'm like a skater, like a beanie, right? Like she puts on like the beanie, and then like she gets like the Jinko jeans and like a skateboard, and like some Vans. She becomes cool.
I like it.
We've got John 32, Daisy from the block. I can't see.
I'm just Daisy from the block.
Went with a sun hat.
Used to have a little, now I have a lot. Sun hat would be cool.
It's just taking Peach's. Tired of living in your shadow.
Oh man,
that's funny.
Our next question from David might be depressing, but I'm going with it. David asks, years and years and years from now,
not that many years,
as the last moments, not for Donnie, not that many, not too long. Which game will you be playing, assuming, of course, you have the facilities to do so? All right, Donnie. In a couple years on your deathbed, what do you plan on playing?
Yeah, 39. I don't know. It's so easy to be like, my favorite game. But then I think about it, like I put myself like I'm old. Like, I don't know, if I'm on my deathbed, I'm probably, I don't know. Like, are you playing for hours at a time? Are you playing for days at a time, weeks at a time? So like some wide-reaching, Zelda adventure probably isn't in the books. Because I'm probably not making it off the island or anything. Yeah, so I'm probably playing something shorter. Something more pick up and play. Something I can just like kind of go to. Something like a Retro Bowl or a sports game. Maybe a Mario. Maybe take a spin around on a couple Mario levels and just like walk around. Probably something like that more than some open world adventure. Although I could just be like, you know what?
Yeah,
in my last breaths, I just want to blow some shit up in GTA.
That's also good.
Steal some cars. I don't know.
Feel like when I get to that point in life, I just want to play something that's gonna be fun, not stressful,
and easy.
Because I don't imagine, easy. I don't want to imagine my last days. I want to be playing something like a Dark Souls game.
You're trying to figure out a dungeon puzzle. Like, how do I get this door to open?
Like, no, that sounds horrible. But and then my last breath is still trying to figure out how to beat this game. No, I'm going to something I've beaten before. That's easy. That I can just play again and enjoy. Maybe a Lego game. That would be
good call. Lego game.
Like a Lego Star
Lego
Wars.
Forza.
Yeah, Lego Forza, something like that. So I know now I ain't got to worry about dying. And if I get really bad, my grandkids can help me play it, and I'll be good.
Could play like Super Mario World. Maybe I spin up
Yeah.
Star Ocean for the first time, and I'm like, hey man, let's check out this RPG.
Yeah, you might, depending on where you're at, you might die of boredom.
That flatlines.
It might just take you out just reading the plot.
Wouldn't that would be so poetic though? Like I spin up, I'm like, all right, Final Fantasy VII, and then my thing's like, the doctor comes in, they're like, Final Fantasy VII killed him. It's right here. Just this is what happened. Cause of death.
Final Fantasy VII. All right. Our next question from Kyle the Pug. F you, of course. Which Pokemon game do you want to erase from your memory so that you can re-experience it again with no knowledge of it at all? Hence, replaying it for the first time.
Could I just elect to just erase one from memory? I don't have to replay it or anything. I don't want to even know about it. Just Thanos snap one out of existence. I just get rid of one.
Well, I'll let that be your answer.
Or a half dozen, maybe.
Because you have to pick one. You can't just pick the whole decade of
the same. It'd be nice to redo that again.
I feel like Red and Blue. That was the first one I got into. That's the first one I legit loved. The simplicity of it. And I want to play it the same way, like on Game Boy. Like they should re-release a Game Boy just with that on it. Like with that and 30 other Nintendo games on it.
No, I mean, I think you're right, but we've talked about this back when the mini craze was going on. I remember I talked about this. Jason, Kevin, Caro, we've talked about this for a long time. You could do a Game Boy classic mini. These little retro handhelds are all the rage right now. But here's the thing that I've been saying. I actually think they could get away with just releasing a little Game Boy and it just having Pokemon on it. And here's what you do is you create a red one for Pokemon Red. You do a blue one for Pokemon Blue. You do the yellow one for Pokemon Yellow, and you just release all three of them, and then people will buy 3 of them at a time with just that game on it and nothing else. Just a little handheld Pokemon game. They sell them for $60, $70, and then people just buy them up.
I agree. Just make one just like that. The same way you said it, and just be like, hey, to make it different, hey, you can play it in color now. You can either play it in color or you can play it in the old Game Boy format.
That'd be cool.
You can just switch the color palette.
I think it'd be an easy little Pokemon toy for them to make, and I think they would sell out. They would make they would make so much money.
I would buy at least 3 of them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would. And you just make it look like, the mold looks like a Game Boy. They could even have the mold either looks like it has a cartridge in the back or whatever, with a sticker on it. And I know. Iron Nate says sad things. This would actually work. I know. It would absolutely work. Everybody's like, I need a Game Boy Mini with 100 games. I'm like, they can get you with a Game Boy Mini in 1 game.
Yeah, just one. Just the one.
They don't even have to pimp Mario out for this one. They got you from the start. And I think how retro nostalgia things are so popular right now, I think Pokemon fans would lose their ever-loving mind if they did that.
Especially now. That would be some goodwill to give out now.
My idea was you remember the Tiger games, the old little electronic games where you would just get Yahtzee or football or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. Is you just get the handheld that just has the one game on it. They can even do it for Tetris.
And those Tiger games have come back and people are buying them. There's several ones. There's the Sonic
and that's the thing.
I have the Transformers one, so yeah.
That Game Boy Nintendo stuff is so popular that they could release a set of little handhelds that just have one game on it. And they could probably do 12 or 15 of them. But Pokemon would be the ones that would go for.
Yeah. I 100%.
That's a sore subject. Hyrule Nate asks, how much is that classic card set? And it's $400. Whoa. It went live again today. I could have got one, but I don't have them. 400 is too much. I don't have the money for that now. I can't do 400. I'm hoping at this point, I'm hoping that somebody buys the sets for the cards and then they sell the set separately. And maybe I can pick up a set for $100. Cause I like the cards, but I don't need the cards. I want the board. I'm after the board and the damage counters and stuff. I don't really want the set. People could keep the cards. I'd love to go half on with somebody and split it up. I didn't talk about it, but I guess since you brought it up, I will say, Jack and I are absolutely having a blast with the Pokemon 151. I've been talking about it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't know, there's a new expansion in Pokemon cards called the Pokemon 151. It is the original Pokemon 151 Pokemon set. Not the original, not the base set, but it's all the Pokemon in this set are from the original 151. That's why it's called 151, obviously. And they all feature like new art, but a lot of the art is derived from like the old art. So it's very nostalgic and it's very beautiful. There's lots of different designs. They've got full art cards. This is my favorite Pokemon expansion ever already, like ever. And Jack and I have bought, I don't know, 25, 30 booster packs already. We got Blastoise, we got Marowak, like we got Machamp. We've got a lot of our favorites already.
Oh, you got a lot already. That's great.
I've got way too many Mews. I don't know why it feels very common, but I have like 9 Mews. I get them like every other pack. We get a Mew.
Maybe you can trade somebody.
Yeah, maybe so. But yeah, the gamer guy Lou has been in Discord. He's been sharing. He got everything. He got like the most sought after cards in his first try. He's got like that full art Charizard that's going for hundreds of dollars. So yeah. Oh yeah. It's been a big deal. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, really, scalpers are going to scalp. You know, like they're going to do what they do. Pokemon. That's nothing new to Pokemon cards. It does suck for somebody like Jack and I, who we have the cards, so I guess you could call us collectors, but we're not like collectors. We're not trying to collect them all. We play the game. You know, so everything to us is for the cards. Like we want the cards. We want the ones we like, but we also want for the card game. I was very happy in my first set of booster packs. I pulled Marowak.
That's dope.
So, yeah, I've been doing a lot of that this week as well, doing a lot of Pokemon cards. Jack was unfortunately away. He went to his grandparents' house this week because they're on fall break. And I've got one more booster box coming. So my second to last booster box came in while he was gone, and I opened up the booster pack, and the first booster pack I opened had a Blastoise. It's double rare Blastoise that he wants. That's his favorite. So
that's awesome.
He was stoked. He came home yesterday and went right to it. He's even created like this little shelf in his room. Because I've got like displays. I've got like Pokemon cards on display. I don't think you can see them. Hang on, let me see it. See them? Okay. On the desk?
Yeah, that looks nice.
So I've got like a first edition Cubone from base set. It's not expensive. They're very, it's like $3. And a Marowak on display, and he put his Blastoise on display. So his little room kind of looks like my little room. He's got a little Blastoise toy and he's got Pokemon Blue, the cartridge, and he's got his Blastoise on display. Yeah. I'll put the picture
in the box still.
I'll put a picture in Discord. I'll show you what it looks like.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Our next question from G-Man. He says, getting towards a deadline here, and it's about Switch 2. Do you think we'll be getting a trailer in the next month? Switch 2 trailer. What you thinking?
I don't know. I normally don't like to say that. I don't know. I honestly, at this point, I feel like I don't know. I think I want to tell you no, because I feel like the Switch 2 comes out next fall and not next spring, and I feel like it's too soon. But that doesn't mean anything. Like like I could be wrong. There's been so much speculation on so many fronts. It's been hard to piece through like who's got it right and who doesn't. Right? Nate the Hate has had a lot of sourced information on the Switch, and he kept saying, I don't believe it, but I keep hearing like spring. And that blows my mind that like we could be that close to it.
Question for you. When does spring actually end? And that's a dumb question, but hear me out. Could it be the end of spring?
Yeah. It could be like May.
Yeah. It was
I think if they got that close, they would just wait till June. Like if you're going to get that close, Yeah,
I feel like if it's in May, you could probably get an announcement in January. It'd be fine. Like a trailer or something in January. But if it was like March, then I would feel like, okay, we probably need to get one like soon.
I still feel like the lowest common denominator, the easiest answer to maybe take is that it comes out next fall. Which means that we don't get an announcement until probably December, January, February. They could even save the announcement until March. They could have an announcement in March, a breakdown in June, and then a release in October or September or whatever. But I don't know. It feels like they could announce it whenever they want at this point. It feels like they could announce it tomorrow. They can announce it 6 months from now. I'm giving up on the idea that they can't announce it because then people won't buy Mario Wonder, because I just don't believe that to be true. Especially if when they announce it, they talk about it being backwards compatible. Right? So if they announce it and they're like, and you can play all your favorite Switch games, then nobody's gonna not buy Switch games. They may stop buying Switches, but nobody's gonna stop buying Switch games.
Here's a pie in the sky conspiracy theory. What if they announce it at the Game Awards? I don't think it's a pie. I've been saying that for a while. I think that would be, that's obviously the next opportunity. The question there is, would they announce at the Game Awards or do it on their own? That's the question there. I think the timing is probably right. Like, you could probably show it at the Game Awards. Like, here's the Switch 2. More on it soon, and do a direct like in January.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's coming in.
I think when Rebecca and I have talked about it, I think she just thinks that they would never partner with the Game Awards for an announcement like that. They would do it themselves. Which I think she's probably right. I think they could announce it before the Game Awards and then follow up at the Game Awards with a little more information. Like maybe they release a commercial for the next Switch before the Game Awards, and then maybe like Doug or somebody is at the Game Awards and they actually hold one. They pull it out and show it to us what it looks like. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really don't know. That's the.
So I was trying to think, was it done before? The
question is a matter of reach. Do you think Nintendo reaches more people by saying we have a direct or we have a commercial? I'm not even saying they go direct. They say we have a commercial showing the next Switch. It's going to air tomorrow at 8 p.m. Does that reach more people than the Game Awards? Because that's what all matters. Is what's reaching the most people. And in Nintendo's case, I think it's them doing themselves. I agree with Rebecca. They don't need the Game Awards to do this at all. It's just that is an event where all eyes are on. And if they wanted to do it there, I guess they could. And let's say the Game Awards would make a little bit more sense if they wanted to have some sort of hands-on demo that media could touch and write about and talk about, I think, versus them just having a trailer that they put up whenever they want to.
Yeah. The cool thing about it is I think they can even do the Game Awards could be an announcement of an announcement.
Yeah, they really
Nintendo will be showing their new console soon, and it's coming up, and they're here's our direct coming up this day. So there's ways they could do it.
The also thing is another thing that you think, and I'm just spitballing here, is that they could announce the console and then show a game at the Game Awards.
Yeah, now we're talking.
So they could do a commercial. Here's the next console, and then be tune into the Game Awards to see the first shot of Mario launching for the Switch 2 or something. You could do something like that as well. Kyle says Nintendo operates on their own time. That's 100% true. Which is true. That's what makes this really difficult. Is no, I'm sure people know, but nobody could guess. At this point, everybody's just guessing. Whether we end up right or wrong, it doesn't take the fact that everybody's just guessing. If I had my guess, I would say that the console was unveiled sometime in early 2024 to launch at the end of 2024. I think that would be my best guess, but who knows? Maybe there'll be a damn trailer tomorrow morning. Who knows?
Yeah, for all we know.
We're in that period now. We're in that time frame now that anything is possible. They could do whatever they want from this point forward. It is not too soon right now to announce a system that they launch the end of next fall. Right? We're not too soon. They could do this now. So we're in the wheelhouse.
Which is exciting.
It is. Mm-hmm.
We'll see now. All right.
G-Man says, imagine if Prime 4 is a launch game. So Metroid would be a great Game Awards thing.
I agree.
Yeah, that would be a great game to show at the Game Awards. And I think that enthusiast market and viewer would take to Metroid in a different way, and especially if it's very visually captivating, if it really looks like next gen Metroid, it's very impressive. That could set the industry on fire. at the Game Awards.
That would get people talking.
Yeah.
Like, look what the new Switch can do. Look at Metroid.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it might sell really good like that.
It's just a shame. Like at the Game Awards, usually, not always, but usually when these companies do this, you have like a spokesperson. And Doug Bowser just has never been that guy.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, who's doing it?
He's not living up to his name.
Yeah, I mean, he's not Reggie, and I don't think he's trying to be. Like, it's like his role's changed. Like, he's just not really doing it. You know, like we see him, he's out, and like he takes a picture and does an interview and whatnot. He's just not like as much of the ambassador as like Bill Trinen almost is more of an ambassador than old Doug.
Yeah. All right. Our next question from the Don Rob. He says, "What's your game of the year at this point? BG3, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, or something else?"
To this point, it's still Tears of the Kingdom. I rank my games as I go along, and Tears of the Kingdom is yet to be misplaced. The bigger question is, would I reconsider, like, I don't know what to do with Cyberpunk. I've already beaten Cyberpunk, and it was in a different year. I know how much I love the game. So if it was just the Cyberpunk patch, I probably wouldn't include it. But the Phantom Liberty is included. And I haven't played the Phantom Liberty yet, but let's say I play it and I just love it. What does that do? What does that mean? Do I get to consider it again? Is it back?
I think you can consider it again. Yeah.
Is it making a return? Is it getting a double dip? I don't know.
I would say so. Yeah.
So if Cyberpunk, Mario Wonder, Call of Duty, Alan Wake, these are all games that I've still yet to play. Mirage. So who knows how long Tears of the Kingdom stays there, but to this point, Tears of the Kingdom is still there.
I think I would have to agree. If the end of the year was today, Tears of the Kingdom would be my game of the year. But Spider-Man's coming out, and Spider-Man's like one of my favorite franchises, so that's probably going to be up there. That may be.
I'd be shocked if Spider-Man wasn't your game of the year.
Yeah, like that, it's going to be hard. Baldur's Gate. I think once I get into that sometime next year and finish it, that'll probably be up there. Planet of Lana, already high on my list. Resident Evil 4.
Number 2. Number 3. You just read off multiple on my list. My list right now is Tears of the Kingdom, Planet of Lana, Resident Evil 4, Fire Emblem Engage, and the Crew Motorfest. Those are my 5 favorite games this year so far.
Okay.
But I didn't play. I didn't play Starfield. I didn't play Mortal Kombat. I didn't play Diablo. Like, there's so many great games big games this year that I didn't even play. Not even that interested.
Yeah.
I didn't play Street Fighter.
What the year turns out? I played Street Fighter. I like Street Fighter, but I wouldn't put it in my game of the year. Play Mortal Kombat. I'm enjoying Mortal Kombat so far, but I wouldn't put it in my game of the year either. It feels like more Mortal Kombat. The story's cool, everything's good, but this is just Mortal Kombat. It's like they just improved on what they did with the other one. Just enough. Like, okay, this is still good.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see how this all wraps up. I don't even know what I'd even bet on. I don't know. I think if I like Phantom Liberty as much as I like Cyberpunk and Sang a Lot, I think it'll be on there for sure.
Yeah. All right. It's from Tyler. He says, "Have you already done what you should? The next 99 game?"
I don't know. I wanted Donkey Kong 99.
I was going to say like Mario Kart 99, but that's kind of F-Zero.
Yeah.
They're too close. I don't know. That's a good question. What would work as a 99 game?
I mean, WarioWare is a really good one. I've already had Tetris, which is like the best one.
I agree. That's the one that makes the most sense.
I mean, I'm thinking Nintendo properties, but I'm wondering, is there like, I think the question people are asking is there Nintendo properties, right? So like, I can't say like,
yes,
Sonic or Bust a Move. Like, I think Bust a Move 99 would be awesome. But like I don't think anybody cares about it. I was thinking like Galaga. Could you do like Space Invaders 99 or something like that? That'd be fun too, right?
I would play Galaga 99.
Yeah, like that'd be fun.
I love Galaga, so yeah.
I don't think anybody that listens to this show gives a crap about anything we just said. I think they just mean Nintendo games. I don't know. Excite Bike.
Yeah, that's the one. I love Excite Bike. That would be cool. I can't think of anything
I think Donkey Kong's a better answer. I think Donkey Kong 99 would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know. I don't know about, I'm not super into like the NES games and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
What does the chat say? Nat Attack. Yeah, I can't see keeps bringing this up. Nat Attack, I think, is really funny. It's a good idea. Dr. Mario.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good one. I mean, it's kind of redundant. Yeah, G-Man, Dig Dug 99. That's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, something like that would be fun.
That is cool. I like that too.
Harold Nate says, I'm waiting on the Zelda one. I would have thought that would have been what Rebecca would have went with. Yeah, I guess. I don't know how much that, like, if you're all just like, what are you all like solving a dungeon puzzle? Whoever does it the first, like, moves on. I don't know how that works in like a little micro game. Like, you could cut up like a piece of the level and it could all be like kind of procedural and everybody just does their little bit of the level and then gets knocked out. Like, that makes sense. And then, of course, Dr. Mario makes sense because it's just a ripoff. That also makes sense. Yeah. I think Bust a Move makes a lot of sense. And that would be the one that I want to go with. Because Bust a Move, Bubble Bobble, for those who don't know, like it had competitive modes, like versus modes that played like that. You play 2-player and you would send the balls at each other and you would like lob, stuff to the other screen. Like it kind of played like that back in the 90s. So something like that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I dig it. All right. Our next question is from Justin. Mm-hmm. He says, favorite Koopaling?
Which one's your favorite?
All right, I'm trying to think between either Wendy O'Koopa, that's the one who's having the hot girl summer, and
sure,
Morton Cooper Jr.
Morton,
the big one.
Yeah.
Yes.
My favorite's Lemmy. One's on the ball.
Lemmy.
He rolls around and stuff.
Let me see which one's Lemmy.
I think it's Lemmy.
See, I had to look up some of these names because if I remember correctly, Lemmy's one to roll the ball. If I remember correctly, on the cartoon show, I think they changed the names.
I wouldn't even know. I never watched the cartoon show.
Yeah, the cartoon show, they changed the Cooper kids' names, so I don't remember which one is which. I think they're pretty much the same. They look the same, but they changed their names. So I always confused their cartoon show name for the video game name.
Interesting. Yeah, I think Lemmy.
Lemmy's cool.
Interesting little mini boss.
Yeah, he's fun.
G-Man says Iggy and Lemmy.
Our next. Oh yeah, Iggy's cool too. I like Iggy too. Our next question from Yarden. With all the rumors about the next Switch possibly releasing next year, but the Direct also showing Switch releases still planned well into next year, most notably Luigi's Mansion 2 HD in summer 2024. Why does all this confirm that Toad is low-key the best Nintendo character?
Rebecca!
Yarden, that is great. That is amazing.
Yeah, Toad's pretty great.
Toad just is. Toad is.
He's not my favorite.
He's awesome.
I rock with Yosh, man. Any better than Yosh, man. Yoshi's dope.
I feel like Mario 2 gave Toad a bad rap because he just kind of sucks in Mario 2. like the princess can fly. Mario's kind of average. Luigi can jump high. What the fuck Toad's doing? Toad is
what did Toad do?
Nothing.
I haven't played Mario 2 in a long time. I never picked Toad either.
Yeah.
I always picked Luigi.
In that game. Luigi was great.
I would actually love for them to make like another game in that style.
They should.
That would be a lot. I would love like if Mario Wonder had like a Mario 2 like level. That'd be freaking awesome.
That would be. I like Mario 2 a lot.
I mean, I don't like it more than. I'm not gonna be like go hipster on it. I'm not gonna be like it's secretly the best Mario. I'm not gonna do anything like that.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
not.
like yeah, it's no Mario World, it's no Mario 3 or anything like that. But I did like it. You know, I like Mario 2.
I liked it a lot.
It's different. Like it's got its own. It's unique for sure. So for those, there's a lot of people out there that want Mario Wonder to be different. You know, like Mario 2 was different. I give it that.
Very different.
Mm-hmm.
And fun. Very fun. I like the characters you interacted with. It was just a fun Mario game, even though it wasn't really a Mario game. And I dug the ending. Cool video game ending for that time.
There you go. Hyrule says Toad is the fastest and the strongest.
Oh,
he's faster and he's
I
better
guess he was fast.
pulling up mushrooms.
Oh, he pulled up stuff fast. That's useless.
That's his power.
All right, he can pull up some. Nah, I'm good. Nah, this is why I didn't play with Toad. Like, never mind. I'll play with these other guys who are cooler. You pulling up mushrooms and stuff quick ain't helping me that much. Luigi can jump high. He has like Jordan levels of leap.
Yeah, but Princess could float.
Yeah, she can float. That was cool.
That's OP, man. It's like game breaking.
And Mario was Mario.
She's just like, F your platforms. I fly.
I just fly over, right across it. All right. Our next question. I don't know if I'm going to say this right. I'm quite sure I'm not. But let's try it. Jaru Nate?
I did that too. I've done that a bunch of times. Hyrule Nate.
Hyrule Nate. Oh, that's a really good name. I like that name. What genre would you like to see from Nintendo that they haven't done in a while? Like a beat 'em up, survival horror, battle royale, something silly, unique, or sim? Can be an existing or new IP. The answer is Eternal Darkness, by the way. That's what I want. I've been asking that for years. Give me Eternal Darkness. Give me a remake. Give me a sequel. Give me something, but give me Eternal Darkness.
I mean, I'd be down for it. I don't know how interested Nintendo is making games like that anymore.
Not at all. They have no interest in it whatsoever.
Mike Minotti brought up years ago of doing like a Mario beat 'em up with the Mario crew, and they just like streets rage and beat the shit out of people. And I've kind of wanted that game ever since. That game sounds amazing. Could you imagine? I also think that works really, really well with like Little Mac. Could you imagine like a Super Punch Out, but it's like Streets of Rage?
That would be cool.
You know, it's like that'd be really awesome. Be a nice way of spinning a franchise out of that series. I don't want Nintendo to do Battle Royale.
Nah.
Maybe Splatoon. I think that would work. I'd be down for Splatoon Battle Royale.
Okay. Splatoon 99.
Splatoon 99 makes sense. Yeah.
Super Mario Brawl. Just a side-scroller Mario Brawl game that you can kind of just pick characters from the Mario universe to fight with, like Mario.
What if that was a mode in like Smash Bros?
That would be cool too. Yeah, I dig that.
It was like a single-player Smash Brothers mode, but it's just Streets of Rage.
Yeah. You
use the same characters. It's 2D. It's side-scrolling. It's all the same thing.
This is funny. What if they do it like Double Dragon? I don't know if you remember the original Double Dragon. How when you play the beginning of the game, like I can't remember the girlfriend's name. She gets punched in the stomach, and the bad guys carry her away. So that you pick two characters, and depending on who you pick, they punch them in the stomach and carry them away. You have to go fight and save them. Like you pick Peach and Toad, Mario gets punched in the stomach, and they carry him away via Double Dragon style. You have to go through this world and just kind of like fight your way to Koopa, I guess it would be.
Maybe better than what they did with Emissary. So it works. I'm really having a hard time thinking of something else. I'm sure I could. They make so many, like, there's so many games. The games that are coming to mind are like games that I just want them to remake or like just make new versions of. Punch Out, Star Fox, Rhythm Heaven. Like, just make games. Like, I don't know about like something they haven't done before. I mean, they kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. They've got rhythm games and puzzle games and platformers. They've got shooter. They've got spooky game. You know, like they kind of cover their bases. They've got sports games. I wish they had better sports games, but they do have sports games.
I just wanted to bring some of the stuff they had back that I loved, like Star Fox and Total Darkness and everything else that they have.
Yeah.
They have a lot of properties.
So you love Star Fox. I don't love Star Fox. I like Star Fox, but I wouldn't. It's not one of my favorite franchises. So as somebody that loves Star Fox, are you wanting them to, what do you want to have happen? I'm pretty sure it sounds like you'd just be down for anything Star Fox. But do you have like a wish?
Star Fox, a modern remake of the first one would be cool.
They've already done that. They did on 3DS.
No, but like one for like Switch, like a modern version of that, and maybe like that would lead to sequels of the franchise. Act like like the other ones, like the Star
let me push
Fox
you back.
didn't exist. Just like reboot the whole thing.
I don't think Nintendo thinks they can sell an on-rails shooter for $60 or $70. So I don't necessarily like the idea of like do the first one or Star Fox 64. Or, you know, like I don't think they think that. I think that's like the same reason we don't have Wave Race. You know, like I don't necessarily think it's almost like that should be like a part of like a bigger package or something.
I feel like you can do like a Star Fox collection, maybe.
That would be cool. Yeah, I think you could do that.
And then see how much people are investing in it. If people buy it a lot, hey, we're making a Star Fox remake or Star Fox sequel or something like that, a modern version of the Star Fox game.
Yeah, okay.
I think that could work.
Because, you know, they tried on Wii U. They tried with Zero, with Platinum.
They did.
It was a good try.
But I think that people just wasn't investing in the Wii U like they should have been. And I think that.
I mean, I was, and it just wasn't very good. Star Fox Zero wasn't very good.
Yeah.
I loved their little mini game, the little side game that they had. That was fun for a weekend. That was really good. Star Fox Guard.
It was. Yeah, I was going to say that. Star Fox Guard.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Definitely a thing.
Yeah, I feel like Star Fox needs to do something new. I don't know what that means, but it needs to be something new. And it can have like on rails levels or segments or something, but like I don't think Star Fox, like the Star Fox from 1994, works in 2024.
You know who I think would be good at making the Star Fox game? I know you played this game, so you probably relate to this. Remember the game Chorus that came out?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think they would be good at making their own version of a Star Fox game. That would be a cool Star Fox game.
Well, that's just like the Ubisoft game. What was that game called?
Starfield. Was it Starfield?
No. Starfield. No.
It's Star something. Starlink. Nope. Starlink's the Ubisoft game.
Starlink. You got it.
Oh, right. Starlink. Okay.
Yeah, Starfield. Starlink was like, I think Starlink was like the right path. Starlink should have just been a Star Fox game.
Yes, it should have.
If they did the whole thing as a Star Fox game, I think it becomes more popular. And like, if it were me, like
that as a Star Fox game,
something like that would make more sense to me than trying to do the same old Star Fox.
Yeah, because they were like, hey, this is not a Star Fox game, but we're going to give you Star Fox. Like, oh, I guess I'm playing it as Star Fox then. Screw all these other characters. I don't care about this guy.
I also think you could do like, if you just thought smaller, like maybe they could make like just a dog fighting sim, like a multiplayer, like a free to play, and just put it like on Nintendo Switch Online. And like you and 10 people just get in ships and you just go shoot each other. You know, go pick a character and, you know, something like that. I think, yeah, but I think something like that. Either they do, I mean, part of me wants to go like off the walls, like Metroidvania or platformer or something, and get Star Fox like out of the ship or something like that, which they've tried. Right? They've done it before in GameCube, whatnot, and it failed. But I think
Yeah.
Something like that to get the characters more invested with people. Or you go the opposite way and you make it more of a shooter, and it becomes a shooter based game. But I would get it off rails and do something different.
Which can work. It doesn't have to be on rails to be Star Fox. It just have to be a good.
Yeah, but like every time they've not had on rails Star Fox, it's not worked. So it's funny. You're like, it doesn't have to be on rails to make it work, but it's like they've tried that and it's failed multiple times. Like every time they try that, it doesn't work.
We have the technology. We have the technology to make it better. Just make it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. It's like they can do it. It's like they just never really go hard enough.
Yeah.
I like the you remember like the anime trailers that the Star Fox got? Where it's all kind of like Gundam and stuff like that. I would love a game in that style. A very like, hard scribbly anime style, but Star Fox. I thought that
I would too.
That's a neat adaptation.
I would love that too. Or I would love the game with just the Star Fox puppets they had back in the day.
Oh wow. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. Don't make a puppet game, Nintendo. No.
Give me the Star Fox puppets.
What about what about a Star Fox like bullet hell game?
Ooh.
What if it put you in a ship and they just made it like super damn hard? Even if they didn't make it like super hard, think about like, all right, my brain's going here. It's taking me a minute, but it's starting to turn on. What about Resogun but Star Fox?
Ooh. That could be cool.
So I'm trying to think outside of like what we know of Star Fox. And the thing that just hit me was like, we have tons of like arcade games that feature a little ship. You could do a whole game like that. We had that that game that that finger game. Do you remember that game? I don't think you know.
No, I'm trying to think between talking about finger
Hang on.
Finger game.
Yeah, it's got Nolan North in it. He does like voices and stuff. I bought it last year. This is Freedom Finger or something like that. It was stupid.
The hell is that?
Yeah, it's called Freedom Finger, and you should get it, Delvin. You should definitely just add it to your list. It's funny as hell.
Look this up.
It's dumb. Yeah, so it's this game, and you fly around a little spaceship, and it's got all this wacky stuff, and it's kind of like an old school like combat game, and you could do something like that, but not but Star Fox, but like it's different and does its own thing, and yeah, so I'm thinking like that. Go like arcadey with it. Do like an old school shooter, like a ship shooter arcade game, but Star Fox. Resogun, something like
now.
this. I Can't See says Geometry Wars. Now I'm thinking like Vampire Survivors. Do Vampire Survivors, but in space, but Star Fox. And just have waves and waves and waves and waves bearing down. And you're flying around and getting upgrades and chasing high scores and stuff like that. That's easy. Do something like that.
Just bring Star Fox back. Like, he's a cool character. I would love to see Star Fox back in people's lexicon.
Yeah.
I love Star Fox. Fox McCloud's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next question from Rick. More rumors swirling about the Switch 2. Do you guys think the next console will be graphically and spec-wise in sync with the PS5 and the Xbox Series?
Hang on, you're going to have to reread this because I'm reading the chat, and Yarden goes, okay, Freedom Finger looks kind of awesome. I talked about Freedom Finger like 2 years ago. This is the first y'all heard about it? Yes, get Freedom Finger. It's fun as hell. It's kind of like...
It's $3 on Steam.
It's like something like out of like a Beavis and Butthead universe. It's just kind of wild. And it's got Nolan North, and he does like voiceover, and you're giving people the finger, like literally, and yeah, like it's good. It's very fun. I don't
remember this.
It's very fun. It'd be great for your Steam Deck or your Switch, but yeah, it's a great portable game if you're into that. Yeah, and that's where I was going with like the Resogun, the Galaxy Wars, Vampire Survivors with Freedom Finger. You take those sorts of games, which we've been making for 50 years, just make one with Star Fox. It'd be cheap. You could probably sell it for, you could probably put it up on the eShop for $20, $30. You could probably sell it a box copy for $40, and that'd be a way of getting the game back out there without committing to like a full blown Star Fox thing. And I think like a 2D arcade game would give, you see all this love for 99s and these NSO releases and stuff like that. I think something like that for Star Fox could do wonders.
Yeah, and then people might buy a lot of it. Then they're like, hey, maybe we should do something more with Star Fox, and that would always be great.
Yeah.
If it sells
Yeah, I like that idea, actually. Now, I'm not patting myself on the back, but having got there eventually, I'm like, no, this is good, though. This is actually a really good idea.
It's really good.
Nintendo, do that. I really love the idea of Resogun. Do Resogun, but Star Fox. That sounds great. It really does.
That sounds really good.
That's really good.
And you can have like co-op in it. So that
yeah. And you could have a little story. You could do cutscenes in between levels, but then you just do the levels and you make it a little harder to do. I mean, that works. It really works.
I dig it. That's a great idea, actually.
We did it. We solved Star Fox. Make it happen.
Make it happen. All right. Rick says, more rumors swirl around the Switch 2. Do you guys think the next console will be graphically and specs-wise in sync with the PS5 and Xbox Series X?
No.
Or will third-party developers scale? Yeah, I knew that was the answer. Third-party developers need to scale down and compromise.
Yes.
Yes, they will.
Yep.
No, you're not getting a Switch PS5.
I mean, look how giant the PS5 is, and then think about the Switch.
Yes.
No, it's not going to do that. Can the powers of AI and upscaling and whatnot get the Switch to look like it? Might look kind of like it. I think so.
It's good enough. Yeah. It'll be good.
Yeah. If you try hard enough, I think we can get there. It's going to be more like the Series S, I think. But I think there's two things here. They're still in different architectures, and I think that'll be the problem, right? Because the Switch is ARM based, it's got mobile chip, mobile CPU and all that. And then the consoles are x86, x64, whatever, right? So the games for Switch will still have to be ported. They'll still have to do work. Now, what's important for the Switch is that they're optimized, right? They're actually going to sit down and optimize settings and everything to make the Switch as good as it can be. It's important that the Switch sell well so that developers know that, that customers will be there to sell to you. That's not happening for the Series S. I don't think that's generally happening for Xbox. I think a lot of third-party developers get their game working and optimized for PlayStation 4, and then they just do whatever they can to get it up and running as fast as possible on Xbox. I don't think there's a lot of developers that are sitting there and really making it work for Series S as best as they can. I think they're just trying to get it working on Series S. They're like, hey, it works. I think they could get a lot more out of the Series S, but I don't think there's a lot of people optimizing for Series S because there's not a lot of money there. If you're not a Game Pass game, that you're not going to make, most third-party developers aren't making a lot of their money there. That's different for the Switch. That's the thing that sets the Switch apart. Is I think an EA, if they want to put a Madden on Switch, will optimize for the Switch to try and make it as best they can. Because the Switch sells, people still sell games. People buy games on Switch. They still spend $60, $70 on games. So there's a market there.
And they buy multiple copies of it.
Yep. So I think that's what it has going for it. The reason I bring all this tech jargon up is that just don't expect every single game to just be showing up on Switch all the time. I do think, though, we're going to see a lot of third parties show up on Switch early, especially with ports. I'm thinking with Switch 2, we're going to start seeing games show up that haven't been there for the couple years, right? I'm not going to be surprised we see Final Fantasy or Madden or Call of Duty or Elden Ring or any of these kind of highlight games. I think we'll start seeing those things make their way to Switch if possible. But as the years go on, I think that'll dwindle to just the companies that can afford to port to Switch. Which is what we kind of have now. That's kind of what we have got now is I'm hoping that the power level is enough that it doesn't take as much cost to port over. That's the hope, is that the power doesn't mean you have to do as much optimizing, because these port studios that have been making money off of the Switch, they got to go in there. They got to cut assets out of the game, cut textures out of the game, cut things down in half, really compress the game. Like, I'm hoping that it just doesn't take that much effort. That it's closer. It's closer. It's in the ballpark. And I think it will be, at least for 3 or 4 years. It will be.
Yeah.
I still think the majority of their bread and butter is going to come from the indie space and mobile ports.
Yeah. All right. Our final question from Josh. He says, with the Switch definitely being near its life cycle, it just has to be, right? What are the odds we might still get a Wind Waker, Twilight Princess remasters on the console?
I don't know. Again, I don't know at this point. This has gone so many different directions. I don't know. I think the odds are slim.
What about if they're like, hey, here's a Twilight Princess remaster for Switch 2?
Yeah, no, I think that
happen.
I think that's more. I think at this point,
More
that makes more sense for Switch 2. But like, it's tough.
The question is, will it play for regular Switch?
I don't think they just released Tears of the Kingdom. They said there's no DLC coming. I don't think they have any more Zelda content for the Switch this year. So you move to next year and they have a new system. When they launch the new system, I think a big part of their Zelda talk will be about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So when the new system comes, I think we're going to hear about upgrades, how great the Zelda games we have run now. We're going to hear about, how Tears of the Kingdom plays better and how Breath of the Wild plays better. So I don't think they're going to drop ports on top of that, because they don't need to. So if I had to guess, I would think my educated guess would tell me that you don't see a Twilight Princess or Wind Waker game, a port of either one of those games. And I don't think they're going to do a double pack until year 2 of the Switch 2. So 2025.
Okay. I can see that. I was going to say maybe like if it comes, it depends. Like, it depends on when it comes out. That's the whole thing. If it comes out spring of this or next year, early next year, I can see them announcing something maybe close to fall. I'm like, oh, this is coming out spring 2025.
Yeah, I was holding out hope that if the new system was further out, that they would slot in the Zelda remakes like in the spring or the summer to like just have extra titles. Because by all accounts, these ports are done. They've been done. So I've been thinking that they would fill that gap in, but at this point, we're getting so close to the new system and so close to, I think they're going to use the new system as an opportunity to resell Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know how.
That would work.
We don't know how, right? We don't know if they're going to upgrade for free, if they're going to have DX versions of the game. We don't know what they're going to do, but I think they will talk about Zelda when this new system comes, and it will do something better that they'll try and get people buying those games again. So I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to have new Zelda games release. I
agree.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking that they just kind of kick this can down the road, which they do all the time. Nintendo is definitely that company that, it's so wild. These companies work so hard to release a game as soon as possible, and Nintendo just has games sitting there for years. They just we'll release it when we want. Jeff has been saying there's a Fire Emblem game they've been sitting on all year. And I've heard that from more than just Jeff. That's in multiple places, that they just have a Fire Emblem game they're just holding on to. It'll probably, at this point, maybe it'll launch with the new system, but apparently there's just a Fire Emblem game done. It's so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't think we're going to get a new system that plays Breath of the Wild better, Tears of the Kingdom better, and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. That's too much. It's too much Zelda. I think they're going to spread that out. That's ultimately where I'm coming from. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a January Direct where they announce 1 or 2 to drop in the spring. Sure. I mean, it's the end of the life cycle. I could see them doing it. but I think there's some more meat on the bone with Tears of the Kingdom, especially with the new system, and I think they're going to want to focus on that. I think. Could be wrong.
That makes sense.
That's where I would imagine is that they, when this new system comes, they're going to talk about the new game. I think it's a Mario game. Maybe it's Metroid, whatever. And I think they're going to focus. I think a big focus is going to be, look how much better Tears of the Kingdom is. Don't you want to replay and rebuy Tears of the Kingdom? If you haven't bought Tears of the Kingdom yet, don't you want to buy it now? I think that's going to be a big part of it.
Yeah.
It's too big a game. Like they worked on it for way too long. It's too big a game for us like never hear about it again. Like I don't think Tears of the Kingdom is over. That's why like the DLC thing threw me for a loop. Like, and I'm kind of not buying it. Like I kind of think something will happen. It's too big a game for it to have come out. It did its 3 or 4 weeks and then we never hear about it again. I'm not believing that. They're going to do something.
Yeah. All right. If there's anything else we got to say about this, I think we might be done.
That's it. Good show. Fun show.
Good show. Yeah. I agree. Guess closes out, Donnie.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Rebecca will be back. Maybe not next week. But in a couple weeks she'll rejoin us. But she couldn't make a show today.
Still coming.
She's on the way, guys. Don't keep watching. Don't quit us.
She's on the way.
But Delvin and I will be here. We'll be here and we'll be back next week. As we close up episode 296. We're getting close to big 300 episode, which I'm trying to have some friends come join us to have a nice little special episode. 300's big. I'm not going to go like crazy and do like, new theme songs or anything to celebrate. But 300, it does feel like that's a lot. Can't believe we've done 300 Nintendo Shacks.
300 episodes is impressive.
And the episode list is, I always say this, but we did Nintendo Shack before we started like its own feed and started doing like its own episodes. So the number is probably more like 350, 360 or something like that. But still just
PSPG thread.
Yeah, but for just for Nintendo Shack, its own thread, 300 episodes. Can't believe we've been doing this. God, so many years. Yeah. A lot's changed from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
But a couple weeks away. Stay tuned for that. But until then, keep playing F-Zero 99. You folks out there enjoying it. Hopefully it doesn't cause Mute City burn-in on your OLEDs and all that jazz. And I'm stoked for Mario Wonder, which is right there near the 300 episode. So I can't wait.
Awesome.
Yeah, good times. All right, that'll do it for us this week, Koopalings. We will catch you next week.
Later.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?